Can you see the slide movement, students? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you see?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Okay. So I'll go ahead with the variable declaration. In the previous class, you already know we have studied the what is the meaning of variable, what is the meaning of constant. Okay. Okay. We know about all these things, but we wanted to inform the same thing to the system. Now we are going to write the program for the for the system or for the computer. Okay, so that's why we need to tell the same thing, okay, to the computer. And how do we say this is a variable, this is a constant that I'm going to use inside my program? Okay, so that's why we go ahead with the concept called as a declaration. For any function, declaration is must. Without declaration, if you are using a variable, then declaration is must. Okay, so if you don't use any variables, so there is no need of the declaration. If you are printing some messages, so I don't need any variable declaration. If I am using the variables inside my program, then variable declaration is must. Okay, variable declaration is not for my sake, it is purely for the system's sake or for the compiler. So you are telling the compiler that these are the variables that I am going to use, or these are the constant that I am going to use inside my program. Okay, so these are not meant for you people, but system, you have to tell it to the system before you use it. Right? So how do I proceed with that? That's what we call it as a variable declaration or a constant declaration. So let's talk about the same thing. So now we have started with the syntaxes now. So this syntax is very important for us. Okay, these whatever syntax I am saying, these syntaxes are related to the C programming. Okay, this you have to remember now onwards. So whatever I am saying, okay, now this is going to matter for us. So this is a general syntax first we'll talk about, then we'll take some example for the same stuff. How do we declare the variable? And this declaration I already mentioned, it is for the computer, not for the human being. So what is this data type? Do you know which are the data types that are available in C language? Any one of you, please?
Int, float, double, dash.
Very good. Okay. So this is what is the meaning of that. So you are saying, okay, whatever variable I am going to write here, so that variable is of the type this particular data type. Okay. Meaning of this. So if I take an example for this, okay, sum is a variable and I have followed the rules of writing the variable here. So this whatever I have declared, whatever I've used the characters for this, it is valid. Okay, it's a valid variable there. So if I look into this, I have declared it as an int here. Okay, int is a data type. What is the meaning of this? Okay, now once you say this to the compiler is going to create a memory location and it allocates a memory in such a way that so it must store an integer value because you have given this, right? So you are saying what kind of a data must be dumped inside this particular memory location. And what is the name that you have given for this? You have given the name for this as something like sum. Okay, this is what is the meaning of that. And this is purely meant for the system because system is going to create the memory location in the name of the variables that you have written here. I hope I am making it clear. Is that clear? So this is a general syntax and I took an example for the same thing. If you want to write something else, so you can take float here, float. If I write S1 here, so it is creating a memory in the name of S1, okay, which this, what kind of a data you people can dump inside this? It is of the type float. Clear, student? I need your response. Hello? Hello, students?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that clear? Is it clear what I have said? Because your system, your program begins with this variable declaration only. If you are able to write this, because maximum students will fail to do the declaration. Okay. simply leave that and they'll start writing the program. That is not correct. So it will start throwing the errors in that case.
I'm repeating.
Okay. So declaration, variable declaration, because we already studied the structure of the C language there. Okay, for right here. So let me take. You know that you have main here followed by the open brace. Okay, so and closing brace. You have a declaration section here. So what this declaration section is talking about? It is talking about the kind of a variables that I am going to use inside my program. Okay, so now I am saying that these are the variables that I am going to use. For these variables, you create the memory location. You are giving the instructions to the compiler telling that you create the memory location. What kind of a memory location? So that you are saying with the help of data type. So here you have a data type followed by a variable name. Okay, maybe v1, v2 and so on. The meaning of this, if I write example for this, if I write it as int v1 comma v2 here, so it is going to create two memory locations v1 and v2. Okay, who is going to create? It's a compiler, duty of the compiler, which is going to create these two memory locations. So what kind of a data I can dump inside this? Integer value can be stored inside this. By chance also, if you try to push floating point value inside this memory location, then it is going to tell you an error, or it is going to throw you a message telling that the data or the memory can hold only integer value. Is that clear? Is that clear, students?
Yes.
Okay. So here I've taken two, kind of things here. So here I've taken only one variable. Okay. So in the next case, we went for the multiple variable here. Okay. So look at this. So here in the first case, I've taken only one variable. Here I've taken multiple variables. So meaning is that, so you can declare one variable. So if you want to declare multiple variable, okay, then you have to separate the names of the variable by comma here. So how many variables you want to declare? You declare those many variables. Okay. And A, B, C are the three variables. Now compiler is going to create three memory locations in the name of A, B and C. Okay. And these are the three memory locations that are created. What kind of a data it can be dumped inside this? That is mentioned with the help of data type. So integer value can be dumped inside this. Okay. Only integer value. Is that clear? So how many values, how many variables you want to write? Those many variables you can write there in front of this particular data type. But remember, each variable must be separated by comma, not by space. By mistake also, don't use space in between the variables. Don't write like int A space B space C, something like this. This is not accepted in C language. So every variable must be separated by comma. Clear, student? Clear? If you don't say anything, okay, I'll simply go further. Okay, so I'll not ask any questions back to you also, because you are taking too much of time to give the response. Being a part of computer science, you're quick enough to give the responses. When you expect something good from the system, you also try to give the good thing to the system also. If your network is slowing down there, okay, you'll say, so how can I make it as fast? Okay, because of that, you'll go to the different service providers there. Okay, so you are not happy with the BSNL, then directly you are jumping to Airtel because you want faster response from the network there. Okay, here also the same thing we also expect from you all. Your response, no response means I'll not wait for your response because I don't want to waste my time. Right? So too much of things I have to teach. Right? So if you don't give response, so simply I'll move further. It's left to you people whether to give the response or not. Next, you have one more kind of stuff. So you people can think of going ahead with the assigning a value during the declaration. It is left to you people. You may go ahead with this, you may not go ahead with this. What is the meaning of this? Okay, sometimes what students will do, they'll initialize some of the things. Okay, some of the variables they wanted to initialize. So in that case, so we'll be taking something like sum. So they have declared it. But they wanted to initialize some value for this at the beginning itself. So in that case, what they will do, they'll write the data type followed by the name of the variable and what value they wanted to have during the initialization. Okay, at the beginning. So that they are going to initialize. So this is also feasible in case of C language. So these are the variety of ways how you people can declare and initialize the variable. Is that clear?
Ma'am, excuse me,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Pardon?
Please explain variable initialization.
Okay. So now in this case, so you wanted to initialize some of the variables. I'm not saying all the variables you are interested to initialize. Okay. So you wanted to initialize some of the variables. Okay. So in that case, what you people can do, it is left to you people. We are not forcing you. So this facility is available in C language. You people can make use of it. When can I initialize? During the declaration itself. This is a declaration. Okay, data type followed by variable name. Okay, so this is a declaration we already know. So during a declaration, you are interested to initialize the value. So that is also feasible. Then how do we do that? Take any data type. So let me take integer, as a data type there, followed by I'll write v1 as one variable. Okay, then I'll be initializing this as something like 0. Then I have declared one more variable v2, but I'm not initializing, no matter. Okay, so this is one value, one variable that I have initialized with. The meaning of this, if you look at this, how a memory is created for this. So now two memories are created in the name of v1 and v2 by the compiler here. Okay, so if you look at this v1, so v1 is stored with 0. It is going to store 0 inside this. v2, nothing is stored inside this. A garbage value is there, a random value is there inside this. What is the meaning of this? Okay, we really don't know what value is there. Garbage value is always there inside the memory, usually. But we don't know what that value is. But here, it is going to dump this 0 because you have initialized this. So instead of this, if you store it as 1, it's going to store 1 inside this particular memory location. And this we call it as initialization of the variable during the declaration. Is that clear, student?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so here if you take this example, it has created a memory location in the name of A, and what is stored inside that particular memory location?
8. 8.
Very, very good. 8 is stored. This is how the initialization is done during the, what we call it as, initialization during the declaration. I hope I made it clear. Variable declaration.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let's move to the
Yes, ma'am.
assignment statement. Okay, so what are the assignment statement? Assignment means you have to assign some values to the variable that you have declared there. I'll repeat my statement. Okay, you are interested to put a value, any value that you are interested in, value to a variable that you have already declared using a declaration, variable declaration part. Right? Okay, so now how can we proceed with? So look into this. I've already declared x. Okay, so I'm dumping x is equal to 5. Okay, this is an assignment statement. So here, this is as usual. So initialization is done during the declaration itself. So I have declared int. Okay, that is x as a variable, and I am dumping 5 inside this. Okay, this is another example. So this is what we call it as initialization during the declaration. Okay, then if you go ahead with one more stuff, this is also I am initializing some 100 value inside this particular variable. Is this variable name is correct? Final underscore value is the right variable name. Final underscore value is the right variable.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, very good. Okay, so now, so 100, I'm going to dump into a particular memory location. Okay, so that's whose name is final underscore value, which is of the type integer. So we are dumping, or we are initializing a value into a variable during the declaration. Okay, so here integer values. Now we look into the character. So I have taken one variable called as grade here. Okay, this grade is one particular memory location. What kind of a data it can hold? It can hold. Very good. It can
Character
hold
type.
character type. So what character we are dumping inside that? Yes, is a character that is dumped inside that particular memory location. So if you go ahead with this, one more example is for the float. So it is created a memory location. Okay, so what is the name of that? Name of the thing is percentage here. Okay, so what kind of a data you are going to dump inside this particular percentage here?
75.5.
What kind of that data is that? Little louder. What kind of data is that?
Decimal values.
Is it decimal value? 75.5 is a
All
decimal value. What kind of data is
all
it? Pardon?
real numbers, ma'am.
Very good. Real number. Floating point value. Clear? So that's what you are instructing the compiler. You have to store floating point value inside this memory location. Then only it is capable of storing this. If by mistake also, if you declare it as int, then if you dump this, then it will say mismatch in the declaration. You are storing a floating point value, but you are declaring it as integer value. Now I cannot accept it. It will throw an error to you all. Now we have to rectify that. What mistake I have done there? Is that clear, student? You have to be
Yes,
very
ma'am.
careful
Yes, ma'am.
whenever you do the declaration. Okay, so this is something like assignment statement. Okay, so next move towards the constant declaration. There are many ways to do the constant declaration. I'll take care of only two. So how can I declare a constant? Okay, can anybody tell what is the definition of constant? One of you, please. Make it fast. What is constant?
Value that which remains same throughout the function.
Very good. Okay, whose value is not going to change during the execution of the program. That's what we call it as a constant. Right? Now, how do we declare that? Right? So one method is using a preprocessor directive called as hash define. Okay, so how do I write the syntax for that? You already know. Hash define followed by whatever symbol name, whatever name you wanted to give for that particular constant variable, you give that particular name and you assign the value for it. How do we write? So I take the example. Hash define space is must for this. So this is something like pass marks and we have left a space here again. This is 50 over here. So this is how you people can define the constant here. So if you try to change by mistake also, if you try to change okay, inside the program something like you have used this pass underscore marks here, by mistake also if you try to change this as something like if you add 1 plus some value for this, then it will say that so this is declared as a constant there, you cannot change its value. So try these things. Okay, definitely it is going to throw you an error. Telling that you have declared it as you are telling me to create a memory which is holding a constant value, but now you are changing its value. That is not acceptable in C. Okay, is that clear, student? It is not going to change.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, by mistake also you are not supposed to make or take use, make use of these things as a modifiers inside your program. Don't use like that. Okay, because some students will do that. Something like if max is there, they'll write max into, okay, max plus 1, something like this. This is not acceptable because here it is taking 100, but then afterwards 100 plus 1 is 101. So if you are changing this value, that cannot be dumped inside max. It is not acceptable as a part of constant there. Okay, it throws an error. You have to be little careful whenever you write the program. So next one is pi value. So how can you define? So it has defined pi space 3.142. Okay, 14. Okay, that's whatever is written there. Clear, students? And we know that pi value cannot be changed during the execution of a program. But I wanted to use it as a part of the equation there. I'll be using it. So any problem in the definition of the defining the constant there? Make it fast. I hope it is clear how can you define the constant there.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, tell me.
What is the difference between initialization and defining?
We are not initializing anything here. Okay, this is not initializing. We are defining the things. We are saying that pass marks, okay, pass marks is something like 50. I am assigning a constant value to this. Okay, because I want to have the bifurcation between the variable initialization and the constant declaration or a constant variables. I hope I'm making it clear, because constant means whose value is not changing. Variable means you have to answer it. If you don't answer, I cannot proceed. Variable means
It changes.
it changes. Correct, no? So then if I start using, if I declare something like, let me take, so if I write int, let me write pass marks underscore marks, okay, then equal to, if I write 50, this is also kind of initialization that I have done. So in this case, it is going to become the variable, not as a constant. But I wanted to tell that I don't want to change the value of this pass marks during the execution of the program. I want to say it, the compiler, that it is a constant. How do I do that? So this is one method. Hash define is helping me to do that. I'm just informing. So this is initialization and this is a variable initialization. Okay, and you have all rights to change these values. If you write it as, let me take one more example. If I take max, so I'll define max, max is equal to 100 here. Then inside the program, I'll write max is equal to max plus something like 2. So then if I write like this, it is acceptable because you have declared it as a variable there. And you have done the, the initialization of a variable during the declaration. There is no issue. But if you do like this and if you try to write like this, then it is not acceptable by your system. That time it is going to throw an error telling that you have defined it as a constant, but you are trying to change its value.
Yeah.
Is that clear, student?
Yes, ma'am.
Constant is different from the variable. Variable means you can change. Constant means you are not supposed to change, but you have to tell it to the system. Okay, how can you tell? So this is the way you are telling it to the system. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So some students will say, I don't want to use hash define, madam. Is there any other way to tell the system that I'm using a constant? Yes, there is another way. Okay, so I'll be showing that also to you. So this is another way to tell the system I'm taking care of the constant there. How do I do that? Okay, it is very much similar to that of what you have already studied. But before that, we are going to use one special keyword called as constant. So CONST, constant. Okay, so data type. So if you remove this, so this is normal variable declaration. Okay, but if you add this, this is constant variable declaration. So you already know, if I declare it as a constant, whatever value I am assigning for this, so I cannot change the value of this during the execution of the program. If I take an example, constant int max is equal to 100. Okay, so I cannot use this max as a modifier there. I cannot use the value of max again in the program there. That's what I have said before. The same thing is true for this also. This is another way of defining or declaring the constant variable. Is that clear, student? The same thing. Whatever we have said here, the same thing is true for this also. Because some students will say that I don't want to use hash define. No problem. You go ahead with this. Declare it as constant followed by data type. Okay, whatever data you are interested to push in that, and use the variable name. Okay, so now followed by the value inside that. So this is float pi, but I say it is a constant value and I cannot change the value of pi during the execution of a program there. So is this clear to everybody, student? This is how we define the constant
Yes,
and the
ma'am.
variables. Okay, still have any doubts? You people can ask before I proceed with the next part of it. Any doubts? If you don't have any doubts, please tell me. Okay, so we'll proceed. Okay. Okay, fine.
No.
Okay, I'll take next one. Okay, check it out. Can you see the slides or no? Okay, before again I proceed with. Can you see the slide movement, students?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, that is all about the first bit of the C programming. Okay, so then we'll move towards what are the different operators that we are using inside the C language. Okay, the operators supported by C language, and you have to use only these operators. Okay, I mean, there are a variety of operators. Almost all the operators that you people use inside the mathematics. Almost all the operators. Including that. Some other kind of the operators also we are using there. So, can anybody define what you mean by operator? Do you know what is the definition of operator? Make it fast, any one of you. What do you mean by operator? Have you heard about operator? Hello students, have you studied mathematics? Pardon? Your voice is breaking, I am unable to hear. Can you repeat the statement?
Helpful calculations.
You have to?
Ma'am, operators are the entities
Okay.
using which we can perform operations.
Very good, right? Okay, so the same thing we are saying in this case also. So operator is a special kind of a symbol that is helping, okay, the compiler to that kind of or to perform a particular task there. If I write that particular symbol as plus, then compiler, we are informing a compiler that you have to add two operands that are associated with that particular symbol plus. Is that clear, students? What I am conveying to you all? Okay, operator means you have to do or you have to perform certain task, right? So it purely depends on a symbol that you are going to give here. Operator, we call it as an operator, right? If I write it as minus, so you have one operand here, you have another operand here. What you are instructing the compiler? You are telling that you have to subtract this number from this particular number. That's what you are instructing. So what kind of operators you people can have? Any kind of operators. You have list of operators that you people with. So is this operator is clear? Definition of operator is clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So what are the different types of operators? You have arithmetic operators, you have relational operators, logical operators, bitwise operators, assignment operators, increment decrement operators, and conditional operators. Right? We have written something like binary operator and the unary operator. So before I proceed, I would like to say the one or two sentences about these things, then we'll proceed with. Binary means I need two operands. I need two operands. Unary means only one. I need only one operand for this. Is that clear? So binary operator means whatever operator I am going to use here, this is meant for or between the two operands. Okay, so this is operand 1. So if I write O1 plus O2. So this operator is going to be operated on two operands. But if you go ahead with this particular operator, so this operator will be dealt with only one operand. Okay. So what are those operators? We'll be studying once we go ahead with the incrementer and the decrementer operator there. Clear, student? I just gave one statement about that. So let's look into the arithmetic operators. Can anybody tell which are the arithmetic operators that are available? Before I proceed
Plus,
with
minus, multiplication, modulus.
very
Plus
good.
and
Right. Okay. The same thing I am mentioning to you all. So you have what we call it as addition. Okay, the symbol that is used for that is plus and minus. Okay, for the subtraction, multiplication, division, and modulus. So in this case, mod has little different meaning for the mod in case of the C compiler here. So what is the meaning of this mod in this case? If I take some number here, if I take 3 mod 2, it is yielding me the result as, okay, something called as 1 here. What is this 1 corresponds to? Okay, this corresponds to the remainder. So modulus, or this percentage sign used inside the arithmetic operator inside the C language, is always giving us the remainder. I hope you know what you mean by remainder. You know remainder, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. If I take this 3 is what is 3 is called as?
Dividend.
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 Very good. 2 is
Divisor.
very good.
Divider.
Divider.
Okay. Then, so this is called as
Quotient.
quotient. Is it reminder?
One also reminder, ma'am. That is my I am telling.
Okay. So now, what this is called as I am asking for? What
Quotient,
is this?
ma'am.
Very good. So 2 ones are 2. So I am going to get this. This is the remainder. Okay. So percentage, if you look at this percentage sign, so this gives you this value. If you look at this division, division gives me the quotient value. So I hope I am giving you a clear picture of the usage of these things. Addition means normal addition, subtraction means normal subtraction, multiplication, normal multiplication there. But if you go ahead with division here, if you are using these kind of stuffs there. Okay. So now this is again played with two kind of things. Okay. You have the, what we call it as the integer numbers, integer division, and a floating point division. So floating point, so there is no question of what we call it as the remainder there, because it's a floating point value. We'll have the answers after a decimal point there. Okay, so there is no question of remainder in case of the floating point division. So whenever you go ahead with the division operator, that is on the integer values. Okay, if you are playing a division operator on the, what we call it as integer values, then we have concept called as this particular remainder there. So that's why I would like to mention here, this modulus operator must be always used for the integer values. If you are playing with floating point value, then don't use this. By mistake also, if you use these things on the floating point value, it is going to throw an error. What does it mean? So let me take example. Float, if I write float x comma y. Okay, let me take, along with this, let me take s. So I'll write s is equal to x mod y. If I write like this, so straightforwardly it is going to throw me an error, telling that x and y are not integers. Because modulus will be, this percentage will be operated only on integer variables. But what is the type, data type of x and y?
Floating.
Very good. Okay, so it's a floating point value. But here, mod cannot be operated on floating point value. That's why it's going to throw an error there. Is that clear, students? Is this clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Any doubts, please feel free to ask the questions. Right? So modulus is giving us the remainder, and whenever we are going ahead with modulus, please remember we have to take, or we have to play with the integer values. So division must be done on the integer values. Then only we people can expect the remainder out of it, and mod operator can be used for only integer values. So these are the arithmetic operators. Let's go to the, okay, so this is simple example that is quoted over here. So people can look into that. So integer x is equal to 9, y is equal to 4, z, x plus y. If you print that, so this is something like what we are getting there. Okay, then you have, okay, so x, well, the same x and y are there, and x minus y is, it's giving me, so 9 minus 4 is 5 there, then x into y is 9 into 4 is 36, and then x by y. Okay, so it is integer here. Okay, z is declared as integer. So what is your expectation out of it? Say x by y. So 9 divided by 4. Okay, so now it is 8, 1. So this is your remainder, this is your quotient. And I already mentioned x by y gives me quotient value. And if it is instead of this x by y, percentage y, I can expect this as 1 there. Is that clear, student? Is that clear, student?
Ma'am, can you please repeat?
What you want me to repeat? You tell me, that I'll repeat.
Ma'am, from start.
From start. Okay. So now these are the variables that we have declared. Okay. So we have declared some variables. What are the variables that we have declared? Tell me, what are the variables that we have taken? X and y. Correct, no? Have we taken x and y there? I need your response.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes,
X
ma'am.
is 9. X is 9 and y is equal to 4. You have initialized it. No issue. I already told. You can do the initialization during the declaration. Right. Then what you are doing? I am writing z is equal to x plus y. What is the value that you are expecting for z?
Addition of x and y.
What is that?
13.
Very good. So you are expecting it as 13. That's why you are getting it as 13. You are printing the same thing. Let's look. So think into this as an output. The screen on the screen. This is the output that you are expecting there. So x plus y is equal to percentage d z. What is z value? Z is 13. So 13 is going to be displayed there. Clear? Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Next, go ahead with this. What is x value? Make it fast.
9.
9. What is
9.
y value? 4.
4.
What is z value now?
5.
5. Correct, na?
5.
And you are printing this value, x minus y. So it's going to print here. X minus y is equal to z. What is z? Z is 5. That's why it is printing 5 here. Clear? Is
Yes,
that
ma'am.
clear? Right. Next, if you go ahead with this, z. What is x? X is 9. Y is
4.
9 into 4 is how much? Z is equal to?
36.
Very good. 36. We got 36 inside Z. Now it is going to print x into y. So it's going to print x into y is equal to 36. Z value is 36. The same Z value will be printed. Then Z is equal to x by y. X is how much?
9.
9. Y is how much?
4.
4.
4. So what is Z value people can expect? It is division operation here. That's why whatever quotient we are going to get, that quotient will be stored inside the Z. What is the quotient for 9 by 4? What is the quotient?
2.
2.
2.
Very good. 2. So it's going to display 2 for this Z value where you have x by y. So x by y is equal to 2 here. So that's what we got here. Clear? Clear, student? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now next you have something called as another thing. So here z is equal to x mod y. What is x? What tell me? Why you are taking so much time?
9.
Okay, mod 4. So what is mod operator is talking about?
Remainder.
Remainder. And
Reminder.
are these two are integer values?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So you can expect the output out of it. So 9 by 4. What is a reminder that you people can expect?
1.
1.
1. So it's going to display 1 here. So reminder when a is divided, sorry, this is x. X is divided by y. So it is z. What is z? Z is 1. It's showing the same thing. When x is divided by y, so you are going to get reminder as z. This is the answer. Is that clear, student?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So this is how it
Ma'am,
is going to work.
does that system show the entire statement like remainder when x is divided by y equal to 1.
Yes, whatever you people are printing here, okay, because I have not taught you anything related to printf statement, right? Okay, I have not told you anything related to how you are supposed to print. I have just taken an example and I have shown it to you because I wanted to show you how to execute the program using the C language. But I have not told you anything related to printf statement also. Okay, because printf statement, scanf statement, input output statement will start from second module. I hope I am making it clear.
Okay, ma'am.
Right, so now we are not dealt with those printf or scanf statement, how to read, how to print. Okay, but just to show the kind of output that you people can expect out of these operators, that we have shown one simple example here. Okay, so you don't worry about these printf and these printf statements. Okay, because I'm not told you anything related to these things. This printf statement start from the second module there. There I'll be discussing about the printf statement. So I'll give you the format, syntax for that particular printf. Okay, how do you are supposed to write the this input statement, output statement, everything I'll be talking about. And how to use the constant, character constant inside your program. How you have this something is used \n. So this is one of the character constant. Okay, \, character constant. I was talking about that /t/a/b/v/n. Correct, no? So those are the stuff that I've already mentioned. I'll be using those inside my program. But whatever I'm saying till now, you have to remember all the things. So you revisit my videos, you look into those stuffs. You have to keep all those things inside your mind, because whenever I write the program directly, I'll be using those stuffs, because I know that, because I have already taught those things, and I'll assume that you know those stuffs, and I'll try to write the program there. Soon after giving the syntaxes there. So that you have to keep in your mind. Here I was worried about this declaration, and I was worried about only the operators that I'm talking about. Clear, student?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Next operator is relational operators. Okay. So what are the relational operators? So it is trying to compare two things. Okay, two operands. It's a binary, again, binary operator. So we need to have two operands for this. So here, variety of operators are found here. It is trying to find the relation between two operators. So, sorry, two operands. So what kind of a relation it is going to give? Okay, it's given here. It is equal to, look at this, double equal to, equal to, equal to. This is relational operator. If I simply write one equal to there, it is an assignment statement. I'll repeat my statement. You have to be very careful whenever you use these things inside your program. If it is single equal to, then it is an assignment statement. If it is double equal to, then it is a relational operator. If I write x equal to 0, so you have created a memory called as x. In that memory location, you are storing 0. If I write x equal to 0, you are comparing the value of x with 0. You don't know what is there. Let's assume x is equal to 1 there. Okay, so you are comparing, this is 1 here and this is 0 here. You are comparing 1 with 0. So this is the difference between double equal to and single equal to. Is that clear, student? It's trying to give you the relation between two operators. So operands. I have two operands here. So let's look into this. This is an example that I have quoted here. 5 and 3. Okay. So now is 5 equal to 3? Is 5 equal to 3?
No, ma'am.
No. So that's why it is returning 0. Means it is false. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
You have so many other logic relational operators. You have greater than, you have less than, not equal to, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to. Let's look into the example. It will be very clear to you all. Is 5 is greater than 3?
No, ma'am.
Is 5 is not greater than 3?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Sorry, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes,
Then
ma'am.
what is your expectation? Is true or false?
true.
True. So
True,
true
ma'am.
means 1. True means 1. 0 means false. Clear? Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so next you have less than. Is 5 is less than 3?
No, ma'am.
No, that's why it is returning false value. It is false. 0 means false. Then is 5 is not equal to 3?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, it is true. That's why it's returning me 1. Right. So 5 is greater than or equal to 3?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Even though it is not equal to, but it is at least greater. 5 is greater than 3, no? Any one of these two
Yes, ma'am.
is true, then it is acceptable. Either greater than or equal to. Right? That's what it is mentioned here. Whether it is greater than or equal to. Right? 5 is greater than equal to. If I write here, 3 is greater than or equal to 3. So is it true or false?
True.
True, ma'am.
True. Because it is not greater, but it is equal to. Correct? I hope I'm making it clear.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Next you have less than or equal to. Right. So 5 is less than or equal to 3?
No, ma'am.
No. Okay. Not a single angle. It is true. Correct. It is false. So is these relational operators are clear with you all?
Yes, ma'am.
I'll try
Yes,
to.
Yes.
Okay. I'll just show you how this can be used inside the program. Okay. Look at this. Okay. So I have again taken, okay, variables. I have declared this. Okay. As usual. So x is equal to 40, y is equal to 20. I'll check for this. Is x equal to y? Is it true or
No.
false? No, it is 40.
Oh,
This is 20. Are they equal?
No,
no.
ma'am.
No. What is your expectation out of it? True or
Or
false?
It's
False.
True or
Zero.
false? True or false?
False.
False.
False. This
False.
is 0 or false. If it is false, then it is going to execute the statement that is written for this else. So how it is done? Again, I'll be taking care of that once we go ahead with the second module. So till that time, don't ask anything related to that. So it's going to print x and y are not equal. That's true. So instead of this, if I write this as 20, and here also it is 20, 20 equal to 20, it is true or false?
True.
True. If it is true, then it is going to say that x and y are equal to each other. Clear? I'm just
Yes, ma'am.
showing how it is used inside the program. You have to be very careful whenever you use these things as a part of your program there. Many students will make a lot of mistakes, okay, because I have taught this subject many times to many students, okay, so maximum students will do these silly mistakes, right? So I wanted to rectify that. That's why I convey these things. Next, logical operators. So you studied relational operators. Now go ahead with the logical operators. So what do you mean by logical operators? What do you mean by logical operators? Any idea related to logical operators? Any idea? You have studied something like and gate, not gate, nor gate, or gate.
Yes.
Yes,
You have studied, no? Yes, you have studied.
Yes, ma'am.
Correct, no? That is what we call it as logical. And what do you mean by and? First one is 0. If I give one input, if I take two inputs here, one input is 0, another input is also 0. Or instead of this, let me write it as first input is false, second input is also false. What is your expectation out of and output?
false.
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 Correct. So if it is true, if it is false,
True.
and operator.
False.
False, ma'am.
Very good. Okay. Then if it is false, if it is true,
False.
False.
false. If it is
False.
true, if it is true.
True.
True, ma'am.
So this is what is your expectation. And this and is replaced by this particular and over here. That's all. I'm writing two variables A, B. So I'll use the operator called as and. It is going to check the same thing. Okay, if both are true, then it is going to give me result as true. If any one of those two are false, okay, then I'll say it is false. How can you justify, madam, this? I'll show an example for that also. Don't worry. Okay. Is that clear? Is that clear,
Yes, ma'am.
student? Okay, so
Yes, ma'am.
I'll on the next slide only I'll try to show you an example for that. So I'll still here only I'll take. So I'll write one example. X equal to, okay, something like, let me take it as 0. Okay, and I'll write and I'll write y is equal to 1. So let me take x is equal to something like 0, y is equal to something like 2. Okay, now check for this condition. If this is a condition that are placed. Is x is equal to 0?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Is it true or false?
True.
True. Very good.
True, ma'am.
What about this? Is y is equal to 1?
False.
False. This is
False.
false. So this is true. This is false. I'm adding these two. So this is true.
False.
This is false. I'm adding these two. What is the result I'm expecting out of it?
False.
False.
ma'am.
False. Is it false? This is how we are going to use this operator. Is that clear, student?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. This is how we have to think. Where can I use these logical operators? Right? Okay. So now proceed with OR operator. Okay. So now before that, let me clear the screen. Okay. All right. OR operator. What do you mean by OR operator? As usual again. A is input, B is input. Again, I am expecting A or B. So its name itself is suggesting OR. If I write it, if it is false,
False.
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 If it is true, if it is false,
True.
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 very good. If it is false, if it is true,
True.
True.
true,
True.
very
True,
good.
ma'am.
If it is true, if it is true,
True.
False.
True, ma'am.
how come it is false? It
False.
has to be true. Both are true only, right? I cannot expect it to be false if both are true. Clear? So this is an output that I am expecting out of the OR. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So not operator. How do I use this not? If I write A is equal to, or let me write A is equal to 0. Not of A means complement of this. What is the complement of 0?
One.
1. If I
1.
write if it as false, what is the complement of false?
Zero.
True, ma'am.
True. If it is true, what is the complement of true?
False.
False.
False, ma'am.
This is how it is going to work. Not of that particular operand. Clear, student? These are the logical operators that we use. You have to be very careful. We are using double ampersand and double piping. So this is called piping. Okay. You have piping symbol that is available on your keyboard. People can check it out. Pipe symbol. Just above the enter key, you have one key that consists of this piping. You have some line like this. Okay. You can check it. It is available on your keyboard. Pipe, we call it as pipe. And that pipe is used for representing the OR there. Okay, double pipes. But whenever you write like this. Don't write like straight line there. So straight line, this gives parallel. Meaning of this is parallel there. Okay, so you have to call it as pipe. You have to use it something like pipe, like this only. So this is pipe. Use this like this. Is this clear, student?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So
Yes,
one.
ma'am.
Okay. So this is a truth table that we people can play with. I already shown with that. Right. So this is the. Okay. So now whatever I mentioned, it is the same thing is here. Okay. Look at the example. Okay. So now first one is AND operator, OR operator, NOT operator. Look at this. C equal to 5 and D is equal to 2. Okay. I hope I'm making it clear. Let's assume C
Yes,
is
ma'am.
equal to 5, D is equal to 2. Then I'm using this particular condition. So C equal to 5. Is it true or false?
True.
True.
True. What about
True,
this?
ma'am.
Is D is greater than
False.
5? False.
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 What is the output of this?
False.
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 You are getting it as 0. 0 means false. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Right.
Yes,
Go ahead
ma'am.
with the second example. Or C is equal to 5, D is equal to 2 again. Is it true or false?
True.
True. What about this?
True.
This is
False.
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 So
False.
one is true, another one is false.
False.
True or false?
False.
Or.
True.
So it
True.
is or
True, ma'am.
operator. So it is
True,
giving me
ma'am.
true result. Is that okay?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Right. So go ahead with this. C equal to 5. Then if I write not of C is equal to 5. Is C is equal to 5 is true or false?
True, ma'am.
Forget about this.
True.
Is C is equal to 5 true or false?
True, ma'am.
True.
True. Not of true means?
False.
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 So what is your expectation? Is it 0 there?
Yes, ma'am.
Right? So you
Yes, ma'am.
got the right answer for it. Is that okay to everybody?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Is it clear? Any doubt regarding this?
Yes, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Okay. So the other operators, this is how we people can use this to demonstrate this. Have used one simple example there, whether you are able to cast the vote or no. Okay, if your age is equal to 18 or greater than 18, you are eligible to vote. Okay, for that we are reading the age there, right? If that age is equal to 18, whatever age you are reading here. So if you read it as 18, then age is equal to 18. So age is equal to 18 is true or false?
True.
True. So this is
True.
true. His age is greater than 18.
True.
His age is greater than 18.
True.
His age is, I have read age as 18. His age is greater than 18.
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Huh.
False.
No, ma'am.
Equal.
False. So true, and I am using piping here, that is OR operator. True or false is yielding me
True.
true. Correct, na? If
Yes,
it is
ma'am.
true, the meaning is that you are eligible to vote.
Yes,
Correct,
ma'am.
na? Right. So that's how it is working there. Clear, student? I'm just showing you
Yes, ma'am.
how the operators can be used inside the program. Okay, because these examples you just remember how the things can be used inside the program. Okay, don't do anything right now. So anyhow, when we start with the conditional statement, once we start with the printf statement, scanf statement, that time we'll be looking into these things. We'll go give you the problem, but you need to remember all the operators that you have studied. Okay, don't simply
Yes, ma'am.
use these things. Okay, so how you have to use those things, that is mattering for us. Because sometimes students, what they will do, and they'll write a is equal to something like age is equal to something like 18, and they'll write r. Okay, and they'll write age is greater than 18. If you write like this, it is going to throw an error to you all. Why it is throwing an error? Anybody? It is
It's
going to throw an
assigning the
error.
value.
It is assigning the value here. It is not the conditional statement. Okay, very good. Who has said? What's your name?
Shubham.
Very good. Okay, Shubham, very good. Right? So this is what difference you have to make it out. This is what you have to learn. If you are very much clear with these things, the programming is very simple for you all. Okay, there is no big issue. Clear? Is that clear, student?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so the other thing, bitwise operator, will be looking those things in the upcoming classes. Okay, still have any doubts? So you can talk to me or you can ask me before I close my session. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask the questions. If you don't have any questions, there is no issue. But my personal request to all of you is attend all the classes. Don't miss single class. Okay. So how much it is possible from my side, I'll be giving you all kind of hints to you all to study this subject. Any doubts, students? Any doubts, students? Say something. Do you have any doubts?